I'm here talking to Robbie Blake after Rocks getting out of the FA Trophy, being knocked out by South Park Reigate here at MKM Arena 4-1. Robbie, what is your reaction?
Firstly, I want to apologise to the supporters. Probably don't want to really hear that, but probably you can hear in my voice how disappointed I am. And Liam, it's not about ability, it's not about tactics, it's not about formations, it's about your mentality. And no disrespect to South Park, they've done a good job, sat in, hit us on the break, and done a number on us. No problem with that. But we've played far better teams than South Park this season and acquitted ourselves and done it. And it's just a mentality of our players that it happened at Burgess Hill against a team that is in a lesser league. It's happened again tonight, and that needs addressing. Because I just said to the players that when you've got the staff members and you've got players that haven't got the same will to win, it'll always be a little bit of an issue or a problem. And that's what we've got, is we haven't got enough players with leadership and the mentality to what it takes to be either successful or to work things out. And tactics had no bearing on the game. Okay. And it was purely on the back of they wanted it more than us. And that, I told the players beforehand, the incentive was huge to go to Hereford, a fantastic football club with great history, a great stadium for our level. And it just, you're desperate as a coach, like Jay is. We're desperate to go there and play them. And unfortunately, this evening, our players weren't desperate to go there. That's what it looked like to me. And it's just so disappointing to come, because that is just not acceptable. And it leaves you at a baffle. I know Jamie walks across to me halfway through the game and goes, I'm just at a loss. Like, how does the second half performance against Haringey compare with that? And I said to the boys, Spencer came on after 15, 20 minutes for Harvey anyway. So he was almost the same personnel. The only position we changed was Joe Roberts. And, so it tells me too many things, that it's a mentality, and I get it, and it's not disrespectful. When you've got a lot of kids in the team, younger kids, like younger lads, kids in terms of football development and football age, when the going gets tough, too many find themselves waiting and wanting to do. And I just want to apologise to the club, to the supporters, because there's no way, it wasn't through a lack of, effort, but the team just, it's not like our lads didn't really try. The other team wanted it more. And I said to the players before they went out, whoever you're up against, make sure that you want it more than them. And tonight, I'd probably say they had a full house. And, we went 3-0 down. We sort of had a little go, had a couple of moments. And then, if we get a second, it might be a different game. But we didn't deserve to go through. And to be honest, with the performance and where we are, we deserve to go out with the scoreline.
We were surprised at when the goal came. We were so on top and we had lots of possession. Yeah. We just didn't pay off, did it? And
we weren't doing enough though, Liam. They were sitting in, and we just found no ideas. And we went off the page of what we're trying to do. And we just spoke about that in there, about passing forward, running forward, breaking lines, either with a run, a pass, or a dribble, and we didn't do it enough. We were too laboured, too lethargic. And I said to the half time, the game's played at a testimonial, because we're having the ball and we're allowing the game to be like a testimonial, not being on the front foot and being decisive and being assertive with anything we did. And football never ceases to amaze you, because just when you think you're past the Burgess Hill day, it rears itself up 8 weeks later from nowhere. Because at home certainly, I accept the way performances, well, not performances, way results have been poor and not good enough and need to be addressed. But when you watch that tonight, sort of tells you some of the personnel ain't ready and don't know what it takes. And I told them, it looked like to me tonight that I'm so proud to manage this football club. it didn't look like to me there was enough players that were proud to play for our club. And that is something that needs to change. The whole thought process, it just needs to change. And they've got to be so proud and so lucky to play. These players that play at this level are so lucky to play for a fantastic club like we are, and are great supporters. The supporters come down again, and it's been tough. And listen, people will look for excuses about, and I'm not. We haven't trained since Thursday because ground was, weather, and then we had 4 or 5 lads carrying knocks that if we'd have gone on the 4G, they wouldn't have been able to train. So almost you're training with 7 or 8 players. That's not an excuse, by the way, because I'm trying to look in my own head. And the bottom line is it boils down to is desire, heart, and attitude.
Does it affect like the training levels as well if you have a training session normally on a Tuesday, you've got the game on a Wednesday, obviously, because Chichester playing yesterday here.
Yeah.
Does that affect things as well?
Shouldn't affect your desire and your attitude and your work rate. You might be a little bit off, and when you look at it again, there wasn't one good performance out there. But it's not an excuse. I don't want to even use an excuse. I'm just trying to say in my head, was it because we haven't trained for like 6 days? But it doesn't matter, does it? It's when you come up against, I said to the boys in there, when you come up against someone, good players don't have to be dribblers, don't have to be great passes and flicks and thingies. To look across the goal, and if I'm a holding midfielder, my midfielder that I'm playing against is not going to play well. That's a good player, as a teammate and a player. So you don't have to be great flicks and go round the corners and bouncing and putting one in from 30 yards. If you're stopping it before the goal goes in 30 yards, you're just as much as a better player than he is. The lad who puts the ball in the back of the net, he'll get the glory. Yeah. But it's just about that. It's about having that balance. And we were just, I thought we were a disgrace.
Looking ahead though, Robbie, back into league action, Folkestone Invicta away this coming Saturday. Similar position to us in the league. You expect a reaction surely after tonight?
Well, if we don't, we'll get beat 7. That's the reality of it. And you find out all about your players, game in, game out, of the mentality, the attitude, and everything that comes with it. Because I said to them, you can't kid me because I've played, and I've blamed other people. And when I've gone home, I understand that I was rubbish. And I always went for reactions because good players will react in the right way. And we need a reaction. And if I'm being brutally honest, do I know I'm going to get it? No. Because
the away form.
I'm like, it's like I don't know my players, if you know what I mean. Because you think you're like on a path with them. And then all of a sudden,
putting a
the
performance.
mudslide comes. And then you're back to digging the mudslide away to get to the road again, getting on the road again. And then all of a sudden it appears again. And I get it, it does come with young players. Young players are going to be inconsistent, going to struggle at times. But, nowhere near good enough. And, like I said, I've apologised twice. I might as well do it again. I'm sorry for the performance. And, but what I would say is you've got a group of staff that are not here for the ride. They're not here to pull the wool over people's eyes. What's the point in that? You might as well just go. That's not me. And I know we can change. We've got the nucleus of a good team. We have, but we've got to iron a few things out and get a few things sorted. Because there's too many here that I don't know whether they've got what it takes, and that's just to be like a really good player for this club. I'm not on about success. I'm not on about being this winning machine. That's great if that comes. I'm just slightly concerned with a few of the players that they're not strong enough and don't know what it takes to be a good player and a good teammate.
Will you be looking to make any more additions leading up to Christmas? I know it's a busy period. In December particularly is looking pretty busy with matches. What are you going to do?
When I say it's maxed out, it's just we have to maybe pull a few people, push it, how it is, and but like I say, it's very difficult to even think about that at the minute, Liam. And I respect the question. I do respect the question, but it's very difficult to answer that probably now because I'm hurting so much that it's unbelievable. But you got to be an understanding that some of the players don't do it because they want to do it. Some players just do it because they haven't got the mentality, and that's what I go back to. And but I've got to be honest in the interview and say, you come off the back of Hayes and Yedden 3-1, Gosport 3-0, and then you play South Park, which there's not much
expected to,
and there's not much change to the team, and we put a performance on like that. And what I'm saying is, I'm not expecting the supporters to go, oh yeah, I understand it, but I'm trying to get to look at it and go, there's not a lot of change from the 3-0 against Gosport, the 3-0 against Haringey. The team's almost the same. But what happens is, when they think, got South Park on a Wednesday night, haven't really trained, that's when you come unstuck. And that has to change. The mentality of the players has to change. And defeats, which is terrible to take and hard to take, sometimes you get more out of them. I've learnt so much tonight about certain individuals and certain aspects of the team that needs to be put right. So, I've learnt. It's wonder whether they, as an individual, go back and go, yeah, I've learnt as well.
Just a quick word on Kieran Douglas. He came off, I think, injured in that second half. Any news on that?
He was one of the lads who was carrying the knock. Robbo's been carrying a knock. Harvey's carrying a knock, injured. Jasper's been carrying a hamstring. Dan Gifford with his back hasn't really been able to train. Joe Robetta's just come back off an injury. Spencer's just come in. So yeah, Kieran has been carrying that. He hasn't been able to train. But like I go back to, it's just about the heart and desire, isn't it? And we don't know what the injuries are going to be like. It'll test the character whether some of them say I'm injured for Saturday.
Yeah.
So
we hope for better though Saturday at Folkestone though, Robbie.
Yeah, well, we got to. I mean, it can only get better from that. But what I would say is, if we go to Folkestone and win 3-0, I wouldn't want the supporters going, wow, what a team. Yeah. Because hopefully they see what I go through, the pain of thinking, well, looks like we're okay, and then boom, back down to earth. Because I know you haven't been to every away game.
No.
But, the 8 games we've had away from home, I think 5 or 6 of them in the top 6. Yeah. And give or take, Owen Church fairly beaten after 10 men. I understand that. All the other ones, we've just shot ourselves in the foot. And
draws as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's not excuses. It's an understanding that the reason why we are where we are in the league is not based on ability. It's based on mentality.
Okay.
And that's it.
Thank you very much, Robbie.
Cheers, Liam.
Cheers.